Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to the session 2 on WebDriver basics. So yesterday, so far what we covered is we covered some installation and setup for Eclipse and JDK. Then we learn about a basic program in a Java. Next we learn a basic Selenium. First Selenium then we learn Selenium IDE actually, and then we learn Selenium WebDriver first program. Yes, I think I already shared my screen. Okay, I shared my screen just now. Alright, then we learn Selenium WebDriver first program. Okay, this is what we have covered so far. Today I have planned topics as let's talk about some history about the Selenium. Okay, then the components, we will be also doing some practice. This practice is to learn basic locators, and this is we will be also learning FireBug, how to use FireBug, FirePath add-ons. Yeah, and if time permits, we will be learning with how to deal with multiple elements, alerts, pop-ups, frames, and window handling. Okay, so if time permits, we will be learning this. All right, so let's get started with the Selenium, guys. So what is Selenium? If you know the fundamental tables from chemistry, Selenium is one of the fundamental element, right? So why is the name Selenium is given to Selenium automation tool? Does anybody have idea? You can unmute yourself on GoToMeeting and we can have a discussion directly. Exactly. So Rushikesh said it rightly. See, who was the Selenium tools competitor initially? Think about, like in the year 2002 to 2004. So that time QTP was the most popular tool in Selenium or in automation industry. And QTP, I mean, actually it was named as Windrunner that time, not as a QTP. QTP has a long history. It was initially Windrunner, then it is QTP, and now it is UFT. It is no longer a QTP. So in that year, QTP was known as Windrunner, and there was a guy at ThoughtWorks. His name is Jason Hughes. So he wanted to do some automation on his website, and they inquired about the existing tools, and they found that QTP is very expensive. Windrunner is very expensive, and it is not really that helpful. So he thought of creating some JavaScript libraries so that he can actually automate without any tool. So it is just a JavaScript library that will be doing an automation task. So that JavaScript was internally using a DOM. So he started that project at ThoughtWorks, and while deciding a name, they wanted to kill Mercury, and Mercury was the parent company of Windrunner. So that is the reason they gave Selenium. So in medical, in medical terminologies, um, selenium sorry cute mercury causes a disease, and selenium is used to cure that disease. So that is the reason selenium name is given. So there are four components of a selenium. Okay, these four components are: first is IDE that we learned yesterday, second component is remote control, which is also known as RC, third component is WebDriver, and fourth component is a grid. So Selenium IDE is for those people who just wanted to try out, who are just beginning to a Selenium and they just wanted to try out Selenium automation. It is for them. But in real time, automation industry is not using Selenium IDE for the professional automation project. Remote control, this was also known as Selenium 1.0 version, but it is outdated. We won't be learning Selenium RC. Selenium RC was having proxy server as the core concept, and it was injecting some JavaScript library using that proxy server. But that concept is, it was having so many issues with the design wise. The biggest issue was the same origin policy that is related with some security. So that is the reason they just dropped idea of using Selenium remote control, and they went for a more object oriented approach, that is a WebDriver. So WebDriver was known initially, it was Selenium 2.0 version. Okay, and from last 4 or 5 months, I think they have released 3.0 also. So the latest version is that we saw yesterday, right? We used already, that is 3.4. Selenium grid is another component of Selenium. Okay, so Selenium grid is not actually doing an automation. Selenium grid is something like a server that helps you to execute your test cases in a distributed and parallel environment. So when I say distributed and test execution on a distributed environment, that means sorry, that means uh, I wanted to execute a test case on Mac operating system with a Chrome browser. I want to execute a test case on a Mac operating system with a Safari browser. I want to execute a test case on Linux with a Firefox, or let's say Windows with the Internet Explorer or Edge browser. So that is a distributed environment, okay, with a different platform, different operating system, and different browser combination. And when I say parallel, that means running multiple test cases at the same time. You can run multiple test cases, let's say 10 test cases on a Chrome browser, 20 test cases on some other browser, and 5 test cases on Mac machine, and that way, So that is parallel execution. So Selenium Grid is for parallel and distributed test execution, which actually improves the test execution performance. So these are the four components. We won't be learning Selenium RC. We only saw introduction of IDE, and we will be actually learning WebDriver and grid in detail. This is in scope. Okay, so WebDriver. What is a WebDriver? As I said yesterday, it is an API. Okay, that helps to automate browsers. Okay, so this was the initial idea of having WebDriver. It was the initial idea to automate the browsers, but now it can also supports mobile apps, maybe web native or hybrid application. It also supports desktop automation, because that was one of the biggest limitation of Selenium, that it cannot automate a desktop application. It can only automate web application. But now, yes, with the recent few releases, few changes in the Selenium, we are now able to automate the desktop application also. Next is practice. This is we will be doing at the same time. We will learn FireBug and FirePath, and then we'll do some user actions or action simulation. Okay, we won't be covering framework topic today, Ram. We most probably will cover framework topic in the next week only. Okay, if anybody is there who is not on the Skype group, please ping me in person. And I may not be looking into personal chat, but just keep me, ping me in person so that I can get you added into a Skype group. All right. So, multiple elements. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's get started with the practicing more on the Selenium. Yesterday we automated a program for test fire login. Varshal, I can see you have logged in with two computers. Is there any reason you have logged in with two computers? Varshal, let me know which account I can remove. I can see you are logged in with hotmail.com and another. I just don't want to keep duplicate account. Even for Sunil also. Sunil, you have logged in. Ram also have logged in from two accounts. Prashant also logged in from two accounts. I think, guys, why do you need two accounts for GoToMeeting? What is the reason? Prashant. Okay, I will get you added into group if you are not there already. Amit, Poonam. I think Poonam is already there in Skype group, maybe. Okay, Amit, Poonam. Then anyone else?
Hi, Vikas. This is Dilip Kumar. Can you please Dilip 050?
No, I cannot add you directly until and unless you are not there in my contact list. I cannot add you into group. So
I can't find
please,
your name. That's the problem.
you don't have to search my name. I shared my email address on the WhatsApp group. Refer to that.
So my email. I have shared my email ID through WhatsApp.
I cannot search Ram. I cannot search in each and individual, right? So better you can add me into your Skype. I will get a notification. All right. Let's continue. We will need some application for testing, guys. Do you want me to go on some specific application? If you have any application, uh, you know, available for testing, please let me know. I can use that application and we can use that as a project and continue all the automation scripts on the same application if you want. But I suggest to not to stick with one application because that limits the learning. Better to go with any kind of dynamic application, not only specific to one website. So if you have any website, please let me know. I can refer that, or we can go with any runtime application. So this is just a beginning phase. I don't want to go with any complex application, but as Abhishek said, B2 automation, yeah, that is another example we can take. If you have any other examples, please let me know. Okay, there is one more website, automationpractice.com. I will just keep on switching this application, just to get more hands-on practice. Can we directly do on Gmail? Yes, Rahul, we can do it, but I'm not sure you will be able to understand the different complex locator that I will be using for a Gmail, because Gmail is not that simple website to just get started with. If you are starting learning with Selenium, you should not be going with the Gmail application. Better to do some practice on some other application, and once you feel 100% confident on the locator technique that you use, you can go with the Gmail. But at this moment, I will not recommend to go with the Gmail. It will create more chaos and mess for understanding. Okay. All right. So this is an application which I will be using. Okay. It is like online retail store, a fashion store, where you can actually like looks like this website is made for girls. All right, no problem. So we can go to sign in. Can you please put yourself on mute? Priyanka, can you please put yourself on mute? Okay, so this is the website. If you already have an account, we can go here and log in. To create an account, we need to use this form. So what I will do is I will create an account first, and then we will use that already registered functionality. So I'm going to create an account here. Let's take example. This is because online batch 2 at the rate seleniumtraining.com. Okay, let's say this is the email address or user ID I want to create. So I need to give some registration form, a lengthy registration form. So just filling some data. In first name, this is just a test data. Date of birth. I'm sure still they will allow this website registration. Sign up, special receive news, okay. Then address. This is automatically coming up, first name and last name. Company name, let's say ABC Corp. Address, let's say PO Box 2937. Company name is ABC Corp. Some state, some city, state. Okay, that's its company address. Okay, this is address line 2. Okay, we can actually have this here, and in city just put city. In state I will select some state, let's say Kansas. In some zip code, United States. Additional information, home phone number. Alright, then my address that I will say as my US address. Perfect, ready to go. Now clicking on register. I will just save, actually not required, but I just saved it. Right, see, this is now showing my account screen because registration is done. I'm already in logged in mode. Now what I will do is I will just confirm whether that login is working or not. So for that I need to log out first, right? So saying sign out. Okay, email address, I think I copied. No, oh, okay, it is there already. So I will just use that email address for logging here. See guys, this should not be blocking you to do an automation. Okay, there must be something else. So password 123456789 I guess so, or maybe 9. Okay, see, the login is done and my account is displayed. So let's say the simplest test case we will automate is the login test case on your logo, this website. So let's get started. I'm creating a new project, file, new project. There you can select a Java project. The project name, I will give today's date, 9th August 2017, Selenium practice. I will say finish. Okay, as I said yesterday, we won't be creating in real time. If you are working for a project, you won't be creating a project every day. A project is created once, you will be using the same project every day. So but in learning we will be creating this project every day. So Selenium practice is the project, and I wanted to use Selenium into this project. Okay, that means WebDriver. So the first step is you should be adding the WebDriver library into your project. And how we do that, by going to the project properties, the last option. Guys, are you able to hear me? Okay, I hope I'm audible. Okay, so in the Java build path libraries tab, I kept my jar file as external to the project, right? Okay, fine, thank you. So I will just go to add external jars, and um, the yesterday jar file I downloaded is the 3.4.0. This is the latest version of Selenium presently. So I will just add that external jar file here. Guys, if you have the jar file inside your project folder, okay, it is not external to your project, so you should be using the first option, add jar. I will say apply and okay. So you can see that Selenium Server standalone 3.4.0 jar file is added. Guys, let me know if you have any questions. I hope that voice is working. Sure, Rupa, I will repeat the few steps. Any other questions, guys, you have? All right, let's continue. So, see, this is the jar file which I added into project. I will just quickly repeat how I did it. Go to the project, properties, Java, Java build path, libraries tab, add external jar, select whichever jar file you want to add, just say open, it will be get added here, and then say apply, okay. So I just quickly repeated the steps. Guys, I would suggest not to do any kind of practice immediately. After this session, you can go ahead and practice, uh, whatever we have learned. But if you start practicing, that it may not, you might lose the focus from the topic, from the content what I'm teaching. All right, so I repeated the steps. I think that should be clear, Anivruddha Malvi. Okay, so I have SRC project where we actually write the class, right? So in the SRC, I'm going to create a class. The class name I will give is main class, okay? Because in that class I will write a main. So it is nothing, no mandatory that you should give main class only. You can give any name, but I feel that keeping a main class is more easy to read. So it will give me idea that okay, this class contains main method, and main method is the entry point for my test execution. So it's one of the important method for now. After this program, I will tell you how to use testng. So public class, main class. When we can create package, one question. We can create package anytime. Right now I haven't created a package. It is just a default package. If you want this class to be created in some package, you can just create any package whenever you want. So let me show you how to create a package. See, this is my project. Package is something like a folder. In computer, we arrange all the files and folders in some order, right? For example, movies, inside it again it contains English, Hindi, and again maybe inside that folder again there might be some files and folder that way. So I'm creating a package now. Package name I'm giving is com.vikas.training. Okay, and in that training package I will create my class. So my class name is main class. Alright, so now this class is belonging to com.vikas.training. That is the reason it has the first line as package. Okay, package com.vikas.training. So I'm writing a main method inside that class. The shortcut way, the easiest way I told you yesterday is just type main, control space and hit enter. So it will automatically generate a main method. This is a feature of Eclipse. So public static void main string args, and I have added Selenium jar file, so I can directly use the WebDriver. See, I typed WebDriver and then I'm saying control space just to select this first one. If I hit enter, that import line will be automatically added. You can see that. So that import line will automatically be added. We don't have to type import line. Okay. Try to use as much as features from Eclipse. Okay. So WebDriver, I need a driver object equal to new. I'm saying Firefox driver. Now see, Firefox driver will give me error because it is not imported. So from where to use, either you can click on import, or the best way, just type it and say control space, enter. See, it is now automatically imported. So control space is, and enter is like a master key in Eclipse, as I said yesterday. So try to get habitual with the control space and enter shortcut key. See guys, this line will give me error. The reason is, if you say driver equal to new Firefox driver, that means I'm creating an object. It will be giving me error saying that you need to set a driver executable path. So let's set a driver executable path. Okay, so that we do using system dot set property. We have already learned this, how to do it. If you need more information, please go with this day one video. So WebDriver dot, for Firefox the driver name is Gecko. Oh, I'm sorry, this has to be in lowercase. WebDriver.gecko.driver. For Firefox we use a Gecko driver, and there I have to specify the path where is my Gecko driver located. So my Gecko driver is present into E drive, and you can see that Gecko driver.exe, that is my complete path. So I just pasted that part, but in Java, anything which has a /d, that means some some special meaning. So I just want a normal slash, so add a slash, two slashes, so that it becomes one slash, and that's it. So this line will launch browser. Technically speaking, I'm creating object of a Firefox driver class, but this constructor, this is a constructor call, right? It's a default constructor. Default constructor means no parameter. So this constructor is a special method that initializes your class. This constructor will be invoking my browser. So launch browser will be done. So driver dot, next step I want to do is get, open a URL. So http://automation practice.com. Okay, so this is my website. Guys, remember, you give protocol in driver.get. If you don't give, let's say you will only write google.com, that will give you error. Okay, make sure you are writing http:// and whatever the protocol is, oh sorry, whatever the URL is. There is one question on the Skype, why you give double slash? We give double slash. See, if I don't give a double slash, the Kiko driver is Neko driver, assume, and I'm not giving double slash. So what is the meaning of slash n in a string? Slash n stands for a new line. I don't want to consider the slash n as a new line. I want to consider that slash n as a normal slash and then n. So you, by writing double slash, it becomes a normal one slash. Okay. I hope it is clear now. This is one option, or other option is if it is a file path, you can just give forward slash. Remove that double backward slash and add a forward slash. So forward slash is also allowed in Java for denoting a path. Okay, guys, please uh, keep me asking the questions on a group. I might be missing few things, and also acknowledge that you understood what I'm saying. So thanks, Savita, for the question. I think I should have this window here. It makes more sense. All right. Next is driver.get. This is going to open a URL. So now let's simulate the same actions here. So I will be opening a that URL first. So I am at the home screen now. I'm already logged in, so just to log out. Okay, and see, this is the screen. If I hit a URL, it will show me a sign in link. I think not exactly this link. Let me go to home screen, because home screen was different and sign in screen was different. So this is the home screen. So if you are just saying driver.get automationpractice.com, we will be on the screen. Can I see a username, password, and that boxes? No, here, no. I have to click on a sign in first. Okay. To click on a sign in, we need to locate an element. Let's say now we have to click on sign in. But sign in is an element. Okay, we call that as an element. In QTP we call that as an object. In Selenium we call this as an element. So for clicking on a sign in, we need to locate that element. Okay, now locating it means, let's say I wanted to talk to any guy, let's say XYZ his name. If I want to talk to him, I should know his phone number. That is the uniquely identifying number, so that I can call him and directly talk to him. It is that way. If I want to perform a click on an element, I should know what is the locator, what is the address of that element, that way. So let's find out a locator. uh, that is the reason we use FireBug and FirePath. Okay, so FireBug and FirePath is only for Firefox, so make sure you are using a Firefox browser. This is a Firefox, and I already installed a FireBug browser, FireBug add-on here. Okay, if you need, you can go ahead and install FireBug. Okay, I will show you how to install FireBug. Okay, FireBug add-ons for Firefox. So this is the URL which you can use for installing FireBug to your browser. Click on add to Firefox and it will ask you some permission. You have to click on allow. It will be installed in your browser. Once FireBug installation is done, okay, FireBug installation is done, the next installation you have to do is a FirePath. Let me show you. See, this is FirePath. That is one of the very helpful and important add-on for us. So, but maintain this order. First install FireBug only, and then go with installing with FirePath, because FirePath, it is like add-on over at the top of FireBug. So I have both the add-ons. Can you see that icon, bug icon here? It is deactivated. I'm just clicking it here. Okay, so this is the FireBug add-on I'm seeing. Which version of FireBug add-on I'm using? I'm using 2.0.19. Okay, so this is the FireBug, and I wanted to click on sign in, right? So in HTML, there is a a button which help me to inspect the element. So I'm just clicking on that element, going over element, see it is highlighted in a blue border. Click on that so that it will be selected permanently. And you can see that a link tag a, it's a hyperlink. A stands for hyperlink, guys. You should know basics of HTML. So A stands for hyperlink. Class is giving a CSS style class. It is a login. Href is equal to where this link is pointing to. So this link is pointing to controller equal to my account. REL equal to no follow. This is relation mostly used for Google Analytics. So the different locator techniques that we have in Selenium is let me list it down. First is by ID, second is by name. Looks like this Skype is not getting connected. I don't know why, but there is an issue with the Skype. Alright guys, I won't be using a Skype. I have Skype running in my phone, so that should be fine. Okay, Swapna is saying repeat the FirePath installation. Yes, I will do that. Okay. So the first thing is launch Firefox, because FirePath and FireBug, both the add-ons is only for Firefox. So just Google FireBug okay, and click on the FireBug, the first option, add-on for Firefox. There you see link, add to Firefox. You just need to click on add to Firefox, so it will be it will be added. Once FireBug installation is done, you should go with the FirePath installation. So for installing a FirePath, Google FirePath. You will get the first link, addons.onmozilla.org. Just click on there, and then after installing FireBug, go with installing FirePath. So just click on add to Firefox, it will get added. Once both installation are done, you should be able to see a bug icon here. Just click on that bug icon. So for my store, I will click on a bug icon. On the bug icon, you will see different tabs and FirePath tab as well. Forget about this two tab, okay? FirePath tab. So if you see FirePath tab, that means good to go. All right, so let's continue with locating element. Let me try connecting a Skype. That will actually help me. Okay. So I want to inspect on this element, this is the sign in button. If you want to inspect contact us, you just move your mouse, it will get selected that way, So it depends on you, which element you want to inspect. So I want to inspect on sign in. So I just clicked on sign in. So it is going to select the HTML for it. And that HTML tells me it is an anchor tag with class as a login. Href is something, if you click on that link, it will be pointing to this URL. REL is equal to no follow. Title equal to login to your customer account, sign in. So title equal to login is there. So I'm just trying to understand, what is the uniqueness of uniqueness in this element, so that I can locate it uniquely. So there are different locator techniques. Okay. Uh, so first is ID, second is name, third is class name, fourth is tag name, fifth is if it this is especially for link text, sixth is partial link text, seventh is Xpath, eighth is seventh is a CSS selector, and Xpath. So these are total 8 locators available in a Selenium. All right. So is that element is having ID equal to something? Now let's go one by one. Okay. Is that element equal to having ID equal to some attribute? I don't see it here. For example, see this div is having ID equal to contact link. Is it is this anchor tag, this hyperlink, sign in hyperlink, is it having a ID equal to something? No, it is not, right? So okay, this option is not available. Is it having name equal to something? Second option. See, class equal to something, href equal to something, rel equal to something, title equal to something, and then link text is there. So no, there is no name. So let's go with the third option, that is class name. So is this element having class name? Yes, it is having. You can see that class is there. And what is the value of the class? Class value is login. So I can actually use that login for inspecting or uniquely identifying this element, but I'm not sure that how many elements have a login as a class, because that class may not be unique. Most of the time ID and name is a unique thing, but class may not be unique. So I just wanted to confirm that is this class name is unique. So there are different techniques available to confirm whether this class is unique or not. I will just use a JavaScript technique. Okay. So, but this might be a little bit difficult for the beginner who don't know anything about a JavaScript. This is not getting enabled. Oh, it is enabled. So what I'm writing is document dot get elements by class name, and there just write the class. So I am just writing in a console tab. I'm writing a Java piece of a JavaScript. This document dot get element by class name. This is actually a DOM. So you might have heard about a HTML DOM, JavaScript DOM. It is the same. I'm using a DOM. So document dot get element by class name, and the class name is login. I'm just hitting enter. So see, it returns what? HTML collection, and how many collection it got written? It is returning only one element in that HTML collection. So when it is returning only one element, that means I can confirm that okay, this is unique. This class name is unique. It is only associated to that one element. So this is one technique to verify whether that class name is unique or not, whether that ID is unique or not, or a tag name. But I do not recommend this approach. Instead, we will be using more sophisticated tool, that is FirePath. Okay, so FirePath, this is mainly used for Xpath and CSS. So in right now I just have selected CSS. So in case of a CSS, class name starts with dot. So I gave a dot and then write the class name. So I just said dot and class name, hit enter. It should automatically select that HTML, and you can see that if you put your mouse over, that element is getting highlighted. That means okay, login class is able to uniquely identify my element. So I'm writing, let's get that web element. So web element, importing it from org selenium openqa.selenium. So I will give some name to that object. So let's say link sign in is equal to I want to find it on a driver, right? Driver means our browser. So driver dot, the method is find element. Okay, And how to find elements? It requires object of by class. So I'm just saying by dot. How do we have to locate an element? There are different techniques. I can use ID, I can use ID, I can use name, I can use class name. You see that, right? So I'm using a class name because in my case the class name is unique. So I'm just writing login here. Okay. So driver.findElement, it's a method, it's a function, it's a method. Function and method one and the same thing. So this is a method which is taking object of by, and how I am locating element? I am locating element using a by login class name, by class name as a login. So this method find element is going to return me link sign in. Okay. I think I should use this draw feature. Okay. Yeah, you see this. This is find element method will return me element, and that element will be stored into link sign in. Okay. So once this is done, I can actually use this object for doing any operation on it. All right. So I hope this is clear now. So if you want to locate any element, just write driver dot find element and then way. There are 8 ways I showed you, right? There are different 8 ways I have showed you. So you can use any of this way. So by.id, by.name, by.className, by.tagName, by.linkText, by.partialLinkText, by.cssSelector, by.Xpath. You can use any of this um, option. All right. So let's go back to the program. Let me check if you guys have any question. Okay. Okay, there is a question from Rupa. But in tooltip, we also get ID, or was it dynamic? I haven't talked about tooltip yet. Testing on tooltip is having a different way. So if the element, so I don't want to talk on tooltip immediately. Any other questions, guys, you have? DOM is also a locator. Yes, it is also a locator, but only in Selenium IDE. DOM is not a locator in Selenium WebDriver. So DOM is no longer there in Selenium WebDriver. It is only in IDE. But as I said, we don't use IDE. Okay. Which method to locate the element is good, from console or from FirePath? Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is also a very good question, Prashant. So many people have an habit of using directly FirePath and then inspect a element here. So you directly get automatic, you ready-madely get some element here. Some people use a Xpath and they are just selecting an element, and the Xpath is automatically generated. Okay, see, the Xpath is automatically generated. Guys, if you are just copy pasting this Xpath and putting into automation script, that means you don't have a real experience on Selenium automation. So if you are able to inspect that element, if you are inspecting element in a FirePath and copy pasting that ready-made locator which is coming up here is not the good idea you should be using. Okay. I always recommend the best idea, the difficult way, hardest way, the expert way. It is difficult way. What I'm recommending is, but that is the expert way. If you really want to become an expert into Selenium automation, you should be using this. So okay, just a second. So go to HTML, inspect that element, whichever element you want to inspect, read the HTML. Okay, read HTML, then start, applying a logic. Is it having ID? Is it having name? Is it having class name? Is it having a unique tag name? Is it having a unique link text? This two are only applicable for hyperlink. So right now, see this image, this is the image, it is not hyperlink, so I cannot use that. Then go with the CSS selector, and if CSS selector is not helping you, the last option should be Xpath. Okay, Xpath should be kept as a last option uh, because of some reasons, but I will tell you why. But the most advanced locator is CSS and the Xpath. All right. So this should be your approach. So in this case, see, class is equal to logo and img responsive. So this image, this element is having two classes, okay, logo and image responsive. It is not just one class name, okay. This element is having two class name. Class name is always separated by a space. So you can see that there is a space and there are two different classes. If you want to locate, if you want to confirm whether that logo class is a unique, go to FirePath. So make only use of a FirePath only for confirming what uh, the locator that you are picking up is a unique locator. Okay, it is uniquely identifying that element. So in CSS, I'm just saying logo dot logo because logo is a class name. So in CSS, I will write that line actually. Okay, in CSS selector dot, that means class name. Okay, something which is starting with a dot, that means it is a class name. So, and the similar rule is for hash. So something which is starting with a hash, it means it is a ID. Okay, so today and tomorrow we will be more focusing on the locator part, but I just wanted to tell you the basics for now. All right, so I can see login class is a unique, so I can write by.className login. This is one option. Okay, let's say you wanted to use CSS selector. Okay, by class name, I will be writing by dot class name, n should be capital, and the class name is login. Okay, this will help you. If I want to locate that element with a tag name, by dot tag name, and the tag name of my element is a, it is anchor, right, hyperlink. But as you know, there are so many hyperlinks present on my page. Will it help me? Will it help me? Obviously no, right? There are many links present. Okay, By.linkText, this is for links, so I can actually use this. Let's say I wanted to use a link text, so let's go here and see what is that link. I'm talking about signing, not the image. Okay, so the link text, it means the text which is displayed on a screen. So on my screen, I'm seeing the screen as sign in. Can you see that sign in text here? Okay, so yeah, it is there, but I'm using actually FirePath. I should be using HTML. Again, I'm repeating the same way. If you want to read HTML, use HTML tab. Okay, see here. So this is the sign in text, but there are lots of white spaces also, extra spaces and so many things, So if I just say, if I want to locate an element by link text, by dot link text, I will write something like this. Okay, you have to include that white spaces also. This is the way you will be writing if you want to locate an element using a link text. Don't forget to include the white spaces. But the next locator is partial link text. That gives me a freedom, There I will write by dot partial, p should be small, just wait just a second. Okay, so partial link text by dot partial link text. There you will just have to write sign in. You don't have to write the white spaces, because it will be considered as a trim. Or even if you only write sign, and if this is going to locate a element, only one hyperlink is containing a sign, it will be selected. But in my case, I will write sign in. So this will also work. Okay, this will also work. This may not help you because there are so many links present. This is going to also help. You cannot use ID and name. And for CSS selector, you can write something like this: by dot CSS selector. And the CSS selector starts with a dot and login. That means locate a element which is having class as a login. That is the meaning in CSS selector. Okay, I will not talk about Xpath immediately. First, we will complete the CSS selector and then only we'll talk about Xpath. Fine. So these are different locator technique, and one element can be located by a different technique. So you have to choose the best fit. So in my case, see, I don't like this idea to have a white spaces into link text. I like this idea, by.partialLinkText. Even I can use this one by.className, but as this is a hyperlink, I will be using the special locator which is there for a hyperlink. But this is again a partial, so I don't want to rely on or get a false positive just because it is a partial link text and multiple links are containing a partial text. So better I will go with by.className. There are, see, you, even though there are multiple locators for one element, you have to choose the best fit. Okay, and there is no any predefined rule, or there is no any bible or a book available saying that this should be your technique you should be applying. This comes through experience only, that which locator is the best fit in my case. So I told you reason why not this one, why not this one. I don't like the white spaces. This is about a partial link text, so let's say if there is another link which is containing a same text, then it will become a problem. I don't want to go with a CSS selector because the same thing what I'm doing is I'm only using class name in my CSS selector. So better, why not to go with by.class name simply. So this is the best fit locator in my case. Let me uncomment that. Yeah. So I got that web element. On that web element, I have to perform click. Okay. So I'm just done clicking on that element. Once the element is clicked, let's do that step manually. So I'm clicking on that element. Okay. Okay. The next step is it is showing me authentication screen with create an account and already registered account. So I already have an account, right? I already have an account. So just go in the email address, type password, let's do that automation. On that, oh, nothing on sign in link. Okay. See, this is completely new text box. I want to type in that text box. So the very first step is to find that, locate that text box. So web element, okay, it is a web element. Let's say this is txt email id equal to driver dot find element. Now how to find, I have to give by how to find that element. So let's go and inspect that element. I'm using HTML tab and this inspection tool. I just selected that. See, this is a text box in HTML. The text box is input tag name. Text boxes have input tag name. Okay, now let's go with our algorithm. So first, is it having ID? See, is it having ID? Yes, it is. It is having ID, and I can directly use that ID for locating an element. Okay, I'm sorry, I've missed few questions. Yeah, Aniruddha is right about DOM. So DOM is used in IDE. It is no longer in WebDriver. Which method to locate the element is good, from console or from FirePath? I would say from FirePath, because FirePath gives you more advanced option. Console, it will only give you few basic options like locating element by name, by class name, by tag name, and by ID. But if you go with the FirePath, we get CSS Selector and Xpath, which are the most advanced locator in Selenium has. Which locator works faster of all? uh, you cannot really compare, which locator is faster of all. I would say if you are locating element by id, I would say that is the fastest one, but it has a limitations. You can, most of the element do not have id, or you have to take parent child relationship in considering, or sibling, and that way, so id cannot help you. So it's not about fastest locator, it is about the how many features it will give. So ID, I'm assuming this is going to be the fastest, and XPath will be the slowest locator. Which locator is faster, XPath or CSS? CSS is more faster than XPath, but you will hardly able to distinguish between this speed, because it will be like let's say CSS is taking 100 milliseconds, then XPath might be taking maybe 110 milliseconds. Does that 10 milliseconds really matters? I don't think so. So it is not about speed, voice, okay, breaking. CSS selector needs to give class name, not text. Rupa, I haven't yet covered CSS selector in detail. I just touched one part of a CSS selector, that is using a class name in a CSS selector. We still need one more session to cover completely CSS selector and XPath. Actual use of locator. Why we use locator in Selenium script? Can I use any locator? Okay, good question, Savita. I think I already gave an explanation on that. Let's say you wanted to talk to your friend, you know. So if you want to talk to him, you should know his phone number. So, without a phone number, you won't be able to call him. So phone number is something like a locator, which actually points to one element. So in Selenium, if you wanted to perform click or type or select or check or any operations, basically, you should be knowing on which element you wanted to do, that you should know the target on which element you want to perform this action. So for identifying, for locating that particular element, that is the reason we need a locators, and there are 8 type of locator in WebDriver. I hope that cleared your doubt. Any other questions, guys? I'm still waiting for a minute to accept question. Looks like Sonali have some question. Okay, the question from Sonali: why we create object to locate element? We can directly write a script. It also work. Yes, Sonali, very good point actually. See, this is the beginning session. So what I did is I have an object of web element, and I found that element, storing it into object, and then clicking on that object. Okay, but you can actually reduce this number of lines. You can simply just write driver dot find element. I think this is what we did yesterday. By dot class name, and then write a class login. On that class I will call click. Okay, so this will also work But just for sake of understanding, those people who are new to Selenium, for them, uh, I wanted to tell that this method returns an object, and on that object we are calling a click. So here also we are doing the same way. Driver is the object. We are calling find element as a method, and this method returns an object of a web element. On that web element object we call a click method. So sometimes, excuse me. So sometimes in interview, I generally ask this question. For example, I'm calling. Generally, we call a method on an object, but how I can call a method on a method? Can you see that this is a one method call, and I'm calling another method on that method? This concept is known as a method chaining, calling one method after another method and again another method. So this method is known as a method chaining. And this method chaining is actually nothing but the first method returns an object. On that object we call next method. So this is also valid, guys. I would suggest to go with this idea whenever possible. But if you wanted to have that element, if you want to use that element multiple times, then I would suggest this approach. Okay, next question. That means we can use any locator anytime. Yes, Savita, we can use any locator at any time, but I told you go with this order. It is not only about faster, it is about simplicity. It is about making use of the perfect feature. Now, for example, CSS Selector and Xpath. Using CSS Selector and Xpath, you don't need to use any other locator if you want to use Xpath. But that is the reason, if Selenium community, if they are giving XPath as well as IDE also, that means they have some purpose, right? So I think IDE is, as I said before, IDE is more faster, and IDE is more easy to read or locate an element. So let's go with IDE name and this order. Not necessarily to follow this specific order. You can change, like tag name before and then class name after, and that way here and there changes you can obviously do. But this is my personal recommendation to go with. Which locator we use if we have not ID, class name, name, which is the best way, which is better to go with? The first option I would suggest to go with the CSS, and the last option should be XPath. Find element ID method. Find element ID method is find element is method. Yes, find element is a method that we call on the driver object. I hope I cleared all of your doubts. All right, let's go back to the topic. We have to take a hard stop after 1 minute. So let me just type the email address, and I will give you this as an assignment only. So you guys can go ahead and complete this login script and verify whether that my profile page is displayed or not that way. So let me locate the element using ID. Driver dot find element. Can you see this is a method? This method returns object of web element, and this method is coming from WebDriver. So find element by dot, not class name, it is ID this time, and then ID you have to give in a double quote string. On that element, what I want to do is I want to perform typing. So yesterday we learned which method is used for typing. It is send keys. And what to type? Oops, I have to type this email address. Okay. So when I say send keys, whatever I'm giving as a parameter to send keys, it will be typed. So this is another example of a method chaining. See, this is one method, and then I'm calling send keys method. So method on a method. Okay, this is for typing username. Let's move on to typing password. By.id. I'm not sure what is the ID. I will find it out. The password is 1234567890. Okay, now let's go to the Firefox and find out the password. The password is having ID as passwd. Okay, and there I will be saying send keys 123456. Okay, that way. And then after, there is an option, I can go and inspect this element. This element can be inspected using ID, okay, submit button, and just click on that. Other option is, generally what we do is we type something, then we type password and we just say enter, right? So you can actually give enter key here. So see, I typed password and then I will see keys dot enter. So it is something like type a password and hit enter key, you know, that way. So this is another way of, else I would have I would have to inspect that submit button, that sign in button, and click on that button. I just made a shortcut. So for now, let's execute the script and see whether it works or not. Guys, the assignment question for today is automating the registration of the same website, automation practice. Please go ahead and automate the registration page. Driver executable does not exist. Looks like I gave incorrect path. I forgot to change the Neko to Gecko. I intentionally gave that while explaining slash, importance of slash, double slash. Okay, let's run this test case. I hope this test will work, and we will close this today's session. Yes, you can do assignment in a Chrome. Okay. I see a question from Prashant that can we do assignment in a Chrome? Yes, you can definitely do assignment in a Chrome. Can you see that my account is page is open? That means login is done. The next checkpoints, if you want, you can actually check, verify whether all these buttons are there or not, my account is displayed or not, and such a kind of checkpoints you can add. But let me tell you, if your Firefox is not working, you can go with a Chrome. So for Chrome, just add this two line. You need to have a Chrome driver. I have my Chrome driver on the same path, or that is in eDrive. Yesterday I have showed you how to download a Chrome driver. If you don't know, please go through that recording. And WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, perfect. So this is the two line of a code that you will be using if you want to use on run on a Chrome driver. So I will just right click, run as Java application. So guys, tomorrow we will learn about TestNG. We are running this as a application, but we should be running this as a test case, not as the application. So tomorrow we will be learning about TestNG. Please don't miss any session. Okay, there is a question from Poonam about the difference between previous version of Selenium and the latest version of Selenium. There are major changes actually, but not that much. It is not something like we expect. Okay, the Chrome browser automation is also done. Thank you very much for your questions, for attending this session. Please keep on posting the questions. I will reply to that as soon as I get time.